Hello there, everybody. Okay, the music has stopped. This is a bit of a scuffed stream, and I apologize for that. Using phone right now while managing my laptop for the background. Let me go ahead and mute that because I keep hearing myself, and that's going to be distracting. And the camera's frozen. One second. There we go. Okay, great. So basically, I'm here today to give you guys a rundown of some of these rules and stuff. Hop in the chat if you have any questions yourself, but it's basically just going to be this screen of me sitting here and running over some of the rules. Not the rules that you guys are used to. We cover those every single time we go live. If you want to watch any video, those will give you the basic breakdown. But today, what we're going to be talking about is the sort of stuff that you might not see brought up as much. And I'll give you an example by jumping right into it with round one. Basically, what we do here, you guys know, the 8 questions, you get the bonus round and everything. There's like a few smaller things that go into it. Because this whole stream is basically about trying to explain to anybody, I'll also talk about how it works from an admin perspective or just a writer perspective. Generally, we will take all of the 8 categories and we'll split them up half and half between writers. Usually there's going to be 2 writers on a document. That can be, maybe you want to specialize based on, say, I'm better at comedy, but I'm writing a doc with Matthew Chen, and he's much better at animated or something like that. It's possible that we'll split those up, but I think more and more recently on the docs that I've been writing, we try to avoid that sort of bias because it's better to have different people writing different question types each time. Then there's the process of how those categories are selected in round one. We have 6 set genres. I would put them up on screen. Actually, you know what? Let me go ahead and share this document. I think sharing the template should be fine. That's not exactly a... no secrets are going to be accidentally shared if I do that. All right, so this is the template. As you can see here, the categories that we are using, every single match are going to be action adventure, comedy, animated, fantasy sci-fi, horror/thriller, and dramas. And then we take 2 random genres. 2 is a new rule. We used to have 1 random genre, but as of this new season, we have decided to remove the directors category, which was previously in every match, and now it's 2 random genres. Now, to be clear, these random genres are not just any genre that's eligible in RTFO. They are specifically genre categories. They're not, you're not going to get a specific director in round 1. You're not going to get a specific actor in round 1. You're just going to get anything from the dramas category. If you check the RTFO rules and categories database or something, whatever we call that. If you go to the categories, it'll be the genre grouping. That's where those come from. Okay, so that's round 1. It's pretty basic. I guess I could have started with this, but let's talk about basically the process of how a match is going to get written. There's always going to be 1 admin on each set, whether they're hosting or writing or anything. It's never just going to be 2 people who aren't admins. If you're unfamiliar, the admins are me, Albert, Matthew Chen, and Owen. It's set up like that. We're each from a different team. We bring different experience to the table, but it's we all have just been, we are all more able to contribute time, I think, as well as a big part of that. And so there's always going to be 1 of us on each doc. And then we're trying to involve more people, like getting more people writing, getting more people hosting, because it's kind of fun for them and for us to be able to have just a general better variety of commentators and like different views and stuff like that. So yeah, honestly, the selection is pretty random. Matthew is currently running the scheduling. Obviously, Albert has put a ton of time into running the scheduling in the past, but he's adjusting to working at a new job right now. So Matthew's kind of in charge of that, and he's the one who has been reaching out to people, getting them to host. If you'd like to host or anything at any point, please, you can let any of the admins know. Matthew might be the best to talk to right now. Just shoot us a message. We'll try our best. We can't guarantee anything too soon, but we'll work on it. And we'd love to have new voices when we go live. Jumping into round two. Round two is the most basic. You guys are already probably familiar with every part of this, but I'll just explain really quickly. Each competitor or each team is going to pick 2 categories out of the, in a regular match, 8 categories that are going on the board. And then the other 4 categories are just completely randomized. Between all the categories, there's no like specific selection process for that. It's not like 2 actor categories and a genre and a director or something. Completely random. So that's pretty simple. If you go into a match like the championship match that's coming up, if the winner chooses to remove the opponent's and spinner's choice, we will have another 2 completely randomized categories, and it's that easy. Okay, then round 3. Let's look at this. So this is also a new situation. I'll try to explain. I think round 3 may be the place where most confusion comes when it comes just to the basics of how these things are run. Essentially, round 3 is divided up, as you guys know, into, you each get 4 categories and you assign them different values, and each of those values is more difficult. 1 point is the easiest, 4 point is the hardest. The goal here is that every 1 point question is going to be generally the same difficulty. Every 2 point question is going to be generally the same difficulty. Now, that's impossible, right? It can be our goal, but we're never going to achieve it. We can try our best, but there's just a lot of factors, so that sometimes this sort of frustration when it comes to like a 3 point question or a 4 point generally just isn't possible to check, right? There are some times where it may be a bit ridiculous that like it should have been caught earlier or something. I get that. If you're asking, like, I'm trying to think of a completely random question, but like, who plays Ethan Hunt in the Mission Impossible movies? Tom Cruise. That should never be a 2 point or a 3 point or a 4 point question. Nothing of that difficulty ever should be. Sometimes it might slip through, because here's the thing: is the difficulty is based on subjectivity of what sort of knowledge you have and how familiar you are with the subject. Are you overcompensating because you're so familiar that you think that something that is very easy is actually very hard because you think you're too familiar? There's so many factors that go into it. We spend a lot of time discussing where these things should be placed, both as the writers will often join a call and talk these things out. But also, I mean, whenever we test these matches, as I'm sure you guys all know that we do, we spend a lot of time asking competitors, like, first of all, we do the whole match. So round 1 always gets tested in at least 2 categories, round 2, stuff like that. But then if we ever have any arguments or disagreements about difficulty, we try to ask the testers about that. Like I said, sometimes mistakes still slip through. That's going to happen. We're all just doing this for fun. Nobody's getting paid. We're just trying to do trivia with our friends. It sucks. It's happened to me before, but it's part of the game. You can be salty about it if you want. I can certainly get to that level as well, but ultimately, that's the process, and that's like every time that's what we do. A big priority for us as admins has always been to make this club and everything around it just like as fun and fair as possible. We never want to disadvantage a player in any respect by accidentally like giving them, they pick a category that's accidentally harder or something like that. We hate that as much as you do, because we're the ones that were responsible for it if we actually agree that it wasn't fair. But it's, like I said, it's going to happen, and we'll always try our best to make sure that it doesn't. That being said, let's go into a bit of the specifics about round 3. One of the recent rule changes that we made is that now the categories that a player, an opponent, a team picks for round 2 are also among the pickings in round 3. As you can see here, player A, category 1 and 2, and player B, category 1 and 2, are going to be in the round 3 selections. Then we have 7 of the picks. Remember, this is 1 through 15, so 7 of them are going to be genre categories. 2 of them are going to be actor-actress categories. 1 is a director category, and 1 is a franchise category. Those numbers never change. Player A might pick 2 director categories. That just means there's going to be 3, and 2 of them are the ones they specifically picked, just to be clear on all that. I'll leave this up for a second in case you want to get a bit of a closer look, but it is that easy. Yeah. If you, I don't know, want to run some like odds percentages or something on that, feel free. But yeah, this is what the doc looks like. We'll fill in the questions and then fill in the answer right here and point value. Although this one is obviously a bit messed up. It says 1, 1, 2, 3. But yeah, this is what the doc looks like for anybody who's never written before. It's all like just like a straight up laid out version of it's just as simple as it can be for readability, and there's no like extra information or anything here, but I just want to make sure that everybody has the chance to see one. Okay, if anybody has questions, now would be the time to drop them. I'll take that off screen. Yeah, I wanted to say something else about round 3, but I can't quite remember. Yeah, I guess I can jump into a couple questions that John sent me. And if nobody else has responded by the end of this, I'm going to go back to writing a paper that I have due tonight. Cool. All right. So question number 1, are there any movies that you intentionally don't write about because they've been used so much? Yeah. I think this is more based around recency than it is around overall usage. If I see something like Parasite has been asked about a lot, La La Land has been asked about a lot. Like if right now, honestly, I don't think I'd feel bad writing like a La La Land question because it's been a while since we've had one. But yeah, if I see something being asked about too much, I will avoid it for certain. And I mean, like in the example of Parasite, I love that movie, but I'm probably never going to be the one to write another Parasite question because Matthew has probably like a full doc of them. And I think taking your co-writer or admin, taking their inclinations into account, I think is pretty important if you want to have more of a balanced league. Yeah, so that's probably it. I'll avoid sensitive movies as well. Like if it's a movie that I just don't think trivia is really appropriate for it, I'll do that, i.e. like Fruitvale Station or something like that. I just don't want to personally like, I mean, I think we actually had a Fruitvale Station question recently. It was just about location. Like that's not a big deal, but if it's something like that, about a sensitive matter or something, I'll try to avoid it. And then the second question is just, what is your process for writing? Mine is bad. I can't work very well unless I'm under pressure. So that's an issue. But John asked like specifically. I'm sorry. I wouldn't say your name if you're gonna ask another question. But if anybody else wants to hit me up with them, you got a little bit of time. Yeah, I need pressure. I don't generally rewatch movies in order to write questions about them. I may end up writing about questions I've recently seen, but that's just recency bias and the fact that I'm more aware of trivia that I'd be able to properly write for that. And then a lot of letterboxed searching. I'll just open up my film, pick a genre if I'm writing like a genre category, something like that. Everybody has their own process. Matthew, Owen, and Albert are absolute beasts of writing. They can crank out docs in insane amounts of time that I'll never comprehend, but I think they just have better brains. And then we have a lot of gifted, like, I guess I would say like guest writers as well. Like sometimes, say Matthew again, I'll use Matthew and I are writing a match, and we get Star Trek round 2 because Matt Carnahan picked it. We may go to Albert or John or somebody else who knows Star Trek a bit better in order to get like a proper difficulty for that set of questions. We'll bring random people on in order to help if neither of us feel equipped to write about it. That's not always the case, but it's not infrequent either. So I think that's about it. I don't have anything else. It doesn't look like we have any questions. But we got a few people watching. So I hope whoever was watching enjoyed and that questions were answered and that this video can be used for like reference in the future with predetermined categories, whatever, yada, yada. Any of that stuff that may be helpful. I'm going to double check my DMs before I go with people who I told I was going to do this to make sure I didn't forget anything I said I was going to do. Nope, that's it. Cool. Yeah, well, if you have any questions, like we'll answer more in the future. I think this was just to lay out a lot of the basics. So yeah, send a question to me, Matthew, Owen, or Albert if you have any in the future. We'll try to answer. We'll try to be public about everything we do. We try to be as transparent as possible with all of this. So yeah, everybody have a good day. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.